Hey everybody, I know it's been a little while since our last video dropped, so I apologize for that, but as always, I have a very special treat for you today. In today's video, I'm running with Mr. Gleason, and I love running with Mr. Gleason. He is just a, man, every time I'm around him, I just feel relaxed, and I feel like, like all the stress is gone from me, so it's almost like therapy, just running and hanging out with Mr. Gleason. So anyways, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you out there.
All right, good morning. This is day number 19. Yes, 19 of the Goleta Project. We got Mr. Gleason we're running with today, so we're gonna run around the streets of Goleta, and thanks for joining us.
I think the first time I had the thought was when I was in high school. Mr. Dvorak was my art teacher, and he was my favorite teacher. Besides that, I loved art. He was just a great guy. He helped coach our cross-country ski team, and he'd take us rock climbing, and I just remember thinking he had a great life. So I don't know, that sort of planted the seed.
So did you know when you graduated from high school what you were going to do? At what point
No,
did you know?
I started off as an engineering major.
Oh.
My counselors in school told me, you know, Kevin, you can always do art for a hobby, you know, do it for fun, but become an engineer, you'll make money and be successful. And I lasted one quarter. I took an art class, freshman year, I took a painting class with another just really inspirational guy. His name was Enrique Salaya. He was a painter, and he'd gotten his master's in physics and was going back to be an artist. And he said, oh, you can wait like I did, or you can do it now, but you seem to really love this. So changed my major then. So I think everybody's an artist. It's not necessarily drawing and painting, you know, but everybody has that thing that they just love to do more than anything else, makes them come alive and makes them feel really happy. You know, I think the trick is just finding what that is, finding that way that you like to work with your hands, or whether it's music or gardening or running or whatever. And just, I think art just means doing something that feeds you while you do it and putting your whole heart into it. No, it definitely changed. That's a really good question. I think one of the interesting things about being a teacher is, like I've been doing it for 21 years. So when I first started, I was only about 5 years older than my students, and their parents seemed so old. And, you know, so I felt like I sort of identified with them more than their parents. And now, you know, Ellie's at DP and Quinn's on her way. So it's totally changed my perspective, and I've gone through all the stages in between. So I think it's been good for me. I think it's helped me understand where my students are coming from a little bit more, and just sort of seeing the whole big picture, you know, kind of where they started and where they're at now. And I love it having Ellie at school. It's really fun. It's going to be, in a couple years, it'll be really fun to have, you know, Quinn there too. So yeah, being a parent's just made it better. All right, so the main campus would be a farm. It'd be on a creek. There'd be a giant swimming pool with rocks. And when people need a break, they would go climb the rocks and jump off into the water. People would learn really practical things. Like we would learn how to fix things, how to grow food. There'd be a lot of outdoor education. Biology class would be taught on trails. And my art students would be out hiking around half the time with easels and paintbrushes, and the other half of the time in the studio. The studio is this outdoor, cool, funky building with 2 stories, sort of like a tree fort.
Awesome.
Where we'd be painting.
And what time would you start and what time would you end school?
We'd start at 5 a.m., finish at around 2 o'clock, So we have time to hike and stuff in the afternoon.
Perfect. Sign me up.
I haven't tried yet. I suppose I could make a fire if I use the cord from my shirt as a bow drill. If I had a fire, I could stay warm. I need food and water. I could boil water, get a seashell, fill with water, boil it. I'd be good in that department. For food, depends on the season. If it's spring, I know lots of plants that I can pick and eat. I think I could do okay. How long do they say you can live without food? Maybe 2 weeks. So probably, I used to tell this story. I haven't told it for a couple years, so this is probably a new one. It's my proudest moment. One of my proudest moments. When my wife Lauren and I graduated from UCSB, we went and we hiked a big section of the John Muir Trail and part of the PCT. And while you're doing that, you're really, really hungry. Basically, all your conversations are about food. And we got to this shallow pool, and there was a fish in it, and I caught the fish with my bare hands.
First try, or was it hard to do?
No, Lauren was laughing at me. It was cold, so she wanted to keep going. So my first technique was, it was in the shallow part of the pool, so I took a bunch of rocks and sort of cut it off and just walked in real confidently to grab it, and it swam and it just jumped right over the rocks. But it was still in the shallows. So if you want to catch a fish with your bare hands, this is what you do. I went over to the rock and laid on my belly above where the fish was, and you reach your hand in the water, and since fish are cold-blooded, you have to wait a while for your hand to get cold. They can feel heat, so I let my hand get kind of cold and numb, and then reach under its belly, and just like a lizard, when you rub their belly, they kind of get hypnotized. So I sort of did that on the belly of fish, grabbed it behind the gills, threw it out of the water, hit it with a rock. Lauren's vegetarian, so I didn't have to share.
That's awesome.
It was a good lunch. Just little questions.
Yeah.
I think the meaning of life is to enjoy it, to leave it better than you found it. I don't know. I find what makes me happy is just appreciating that we have a life, and just simple pleasures, like just really kind of slowing down and being present for just being with people that you love, enjoying good food, enjoying just beautiful places to hike around in the world. So yeah, I think the meaning of life is just savoring it.
All right, Mr. Gleason and I finished up. We ran 7.28 miles, so it was a good run. Mr. Gleason, anything you want to say to finish up for the kids?
Just thanks, Dan. It's been fun running with you, and I think it's so awesome, this project you're doing. So yeah, I'd love to run with you again.
All right, it was a lot of fun too. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Mr. Gleason. Thanks for everybody for joining us.
Man, as a teacher, how lucky are we to have a colleague like Mr. Gleason? And as a student, same thing as well. I mean, just the way he looks at life and the ideas he comes up with and the stories he has to tell, it's all pretty awesome. So thanks, Kevin, again for running out there with me today. We covered about 7.28 miles, just pretty much all around the Goleta Valley area, just kind of all around in through there. So anyways, once again, thanks for watching today. Mr. Woodard is my guest coming up next, so hopefully we'll have that video out in a few days or so. So thanks for joining us. I hope you are all doing well, you are safe and healthy, and we'll see you out there. Bye-bye.